Hi, I'm Dr. Abhishek Lulla from Chennai, and welcome to another session of Ayurveda Live. So, today I'll be speaking about aging. Aging is something which happens normally, it's a very normal phenomenon, but it's important to age gracefully. And Ayurveda speaks a lot about this. So, today I'm going to speak about certain basic diseases which happens once we all grow old and how we can help help in growing older. So first we need to understand what is your life. As I said last time, there are three different doshas: vata, pitta and kapha. In every age group there is a predominance of each dosha. In the younger age group, in children, there is a predominance of kapha. In the middle age group, there is a predominance of pitta, and the older age group, the senior citizen, there is a predominance of vata. So let us look at an example of a tree. If we were to look at a tree, when a tree is young and it's a small shrub, the bark, the stems are all tender and soft. So this is because of the predominance of kapha. As the tree grows older, it grows mature, there are fruits and flowers, and this time period is a period of pitta. And as the tree grows old, if you see any old tree, there will be a lot of dryness. The barks will become dry, there will be no fruits, no flowers, and even the leaves seldom fall. And that is the same as the human body. The last part is where there is aggravation of vata. So wherever there is vata, there is destruction. So vata is not only gas, it's not only the movements of gas. So vata causes all the movements in the body, right from the digestion to the movements of the hands, legs. So vata is very important. In Ayurveda, there are 80 types of vata diseases, and these are called as the Ashiti Vata Vikaras. When a person is old, he becomes like a tree which is old and is very dry. And that is the main reason why a person of given age is more susceptible to diseases. If you were to look at the history, in the year 1950 there were about 2 million people in the world about the age of 60. In the year 2000 there were about 606 million, and it's been estimated that by the year 2050 there will be 2 billion people about the age of 60. So our population of the older individuals are growing, and this is the reason we need to understand that Ayurveda is what can help. In Ayurveda, it's been said a normal human being can live up to 100 years and has a Shatayu. But it's also been told that with every decade, there is a loss of a given function. For example, by the time a person is 40, he will see a loss in intelligence. In 50, a loss in the skin glow. In 60, a loss in the vision. In 70, a loss in virility. 80 will see a loss in strength. By the time a person is 90, there will be a loss in cognitive power. And by the time a person is 100, there will be a loss in the locomotive power. So person will have or will lose the control even on the hands and the feet. So this is something which is very unique to Ayurveda. And Ayurveda not only speaks about it, it also tells us what are the herbs which a person can take, what is a diet which a person can take, so that this loss is minimized. So now when a lot of people ask me to speak about this topic, and they ask me that, doctor, in your clinic, what are the patients that you see? So fortunately or unfortunately, what I see the most in my practice is a lot of degenerative conditions. So degeneration, as you know, is caused because of vata, and any sort of degeneration is most where there is wherever there is an increase in vata. Now we are speaking about a few of the degenerative conditions. First is a knee pain. Osteoarthritis is very commonly seen. Almost 1/3 of people who come to my clinic come to me and say, doctor, I have a knee pain. Earlier, old age related degeneration was seen only about age of 60, but now we have a lot of patients coming in with osteoarthritis even at a younger age group. So I'm going to be telling you what are the things that you have to avoid and what you need to be doing according to Ayurveda. So when someone is diagnosed to have osteoarthritis, as I said, there is a lot of vata involved. So what you would recommend is, say, first of all, what you avoid. What you should avoid is doing a lot of physical exercise. For example, sitting on the floor or climbing too much staircase or walking on uneven surfaces like walking on a beach or walking on uneven surfaces like going on a hike, going on a hill. These are things which can cause further degeneration, has to be stopped. Because the main aim of Ayurveda, the first part is Nidana Parivajana, which is we need to stop the factors which are causing the disease. Now, what would we advise in Ayurveda? So, if you were to look at our ancestors, our grandparents, they lived a much healthier life than us. This is because they knew certain basic principles which now we have all forgotten. For example, if you look in South India, it was a tradition that to have an oil bath weekly once or twice. What was the reason behind this? The reason behind this is oil helps in lubrication. Ayurveda speaks in the first chapter itself of Dinacharya that we need to have an oil massage or have an oil massage yourself. So having an oil bath or oil massage, what it does, it strengthens the joints, helps in improving the flexibility, it helps in improving the strength of the joints, and it also helps in anti-aging. A second thing is, now we need to imagine the tree which I spoke to you earlier. An old person is like an old tree. So what you would do when something is dry, you would give it a lot of lubrication. That is the reason why Ayurveda speaks about rasayanas, which is, for example, ghee. Giving ghee in any given form would help in lubrication. Ghee internally would also help in stimulating the appetite. So, for example, when a person comes with osteoarthritis, we need to make sure that a person has an oil bath once or twice a week at least. Apply oil on a daily basis if possible. Then in addition to this, I would also recommend certain other herbs like gugulu, which are anti-inflammatory and which bring down the inflammation. The second most common thing what I see in my practice is a low back pain and neck pain. Cervical spondylitis and lumbar spondylitis are very common in the elderly. Again, for the same reason, there is an increase in vata. So what one must avoid is avoid lifting weights. Above a 60, a person is normally weaker, the strength of an individual is lower, so you need to avoid lifting weights. In addition to this, again, strenuous activities like traveling long distances can aggravate the pain. The third part is constipation. If a person is constipated, there is a chance that the gases, which is the vata, do not flow in a proper direction, and as a result of this, there will be an increase in pain. So it's very important that we need to again correct our digestion and make sure there is no constipation. For this, I want to give a simple few home remedies. For neck pain and back pain, one of the best rasayana herbs seen in all our kitchens is garlic. So what you can do is take 4 pods of garlic, make it into a paste, add to about 1 glass of milk and water, boil till it reduces to 1 glass. And this garlic boiled milk can be had twice a day on an empty stomach. There are a lot of other herbs like for example pala, rasna, and there are a lot of other kashayas which are all specific for this condition. Then moving on, the third disease which I see the most, not disease, a condition. A lot of elderly people above the age of 60 have a very weak digestion. Almost all of them have constipation. So constipation along with the weakened digestion is seen. So before we go into how to address this problem, we first need to understand why there is constipation and a weakened digestion. Ayurveda speaks about a lot of incompatible foods. For example, having milk along with fruits like mango, like having a mango milkshake, having honey which is warm, having maida, having processed foods. These are all incompatible foods which when a person has throughout his life automatically the Agni or the digestive fire becomes weak. Because normally with age also the Agni or the digestive fire becomes weak. So when a person is about close to 60 or person has a weakened digestion, it's important to give foods which are easy to digest. We need to look at a elderly person maybe above 80 as a child. So we need to ask ourselves, what would you give a small child? Would you give a small child raw vegetables? No. You give everything which is cooked and boiled, because anything which is boiled and cooked is easier to digest. Again, we recommend a lot of carbohydrates. For example, rice is one of the most staple foods here in India and is one of the staple foods across the world. Rice is very easy to digest, and I would definitely recommend rice. Coming to other pulses, it's important to have pulses which are very light. Among the dals, the most easiest dal to digest is moong dal, which is a grain gram. And for constipation, as I said, there is dryness. Dryness can be on the outside. You look at an old person, there's dry skin, but we also need to understand that dryness is also inside. That's why people above a given age have a dry eye syndrome, or they have dryness in the mouth, because we, for some reason, do not use a lot of ghee in your diet. We are scared of fats, but it's important to know what a saturated fat is and what an unsaturated fat is. So, to keep it short, what I recommend is for constipation is adding ghee to a diet, having a lot of vegetables. You can boil vegetables, cook it, or grill it. Having vegetables, having a lot of fluid, and having ghee. Now moving on, the next thing what I want to speak about is something which is very common in today's day and era. The common lifestyle diseases like diabetes and hypertension. Nowadays we have a lot of people who are diabetic and a lot of people who have hypertension, but we need to understand what this is and why is it caused. According to Ayurveda and according to modern medical science as well, if a person has if a person has a very sedentary life, has very little exercise, he is more prone to having obesity. And those people who are obese are more susceptible to have hypercholesterolemia, which is increase in cholesterol. They are more susceptible to diabetes and more susceptible to higher blood pressure. So when a person is obese, he needs to definitely lose the weight, because by the time a person is 60, they will be in a position not to lose the weight, because it is easier for a younger individual to lose the weight than a person of that given age. So when a person is diabetic, most of the patients, most of the people in India don't go for a regular checkup. They feel that they just pop in one tablet and they're good to go. But they don't realize that if diabetes is not controlled, uncontrolled diabetes can affect every organ in the body. It can affect the brain, it can affect the eyes, it can affect the eyes and cause diabetic retinopathy, it can affect the kidneys and cause diabetic nephropathy, it can affect the nerves, it can affect the nerve endings in the hands and the fingers and cause diabetic neuropathy. So it's very important to control diabetes and make sure that it does not cause any complication. Certain things what a person should do. If a person is diabetic, it's very important to eat foods which fill the stomach but are not very high in calories. Again, your quantity or the portions of the foods have to be under control. Ayurveda speaks about foods which are laghus and apatarpana. So basically, we need to eat foods which which are guru and apatarpana, which are foods which fill the stomach but are still not high in calories. So having a lot of vegetables, fresh vegetables which are seasonal, then having foods which do fill your stomach but then again do not increase the weight. This is the basic aim of diabetes. Exercise plays a very important role. Even about age of 60, a person has to exercise for at least half an hour to 45 minutes. Ayurveda says that we need to exercise till there is any sweating. So if a person has, if you feel tired or you develop a lot of sweating, that's when you need to stop exercising. So coming on and moving on to the other aspects, which is weight loss. We see a lot of people having unexplained weight loss. If you lose weight on your own, with exercise and diet, it's a very good thing. But unexplained weight loss is a major problem. So the three major factors, the three major diseases which cause weight loss, number one is diabetes, which I already explained. Number two is cancer. And third, there are a lot of abdominal diseases. Cancer is something which is growing a lot. Now in India, if you will look, 1 out of every 15 men and 1 out of every 12 women have cancer. And this, if you were to look at it, close to 80% of all cancers are because of lifestyle diseases. So it's very important. I will not be explaining in detail about cancer. We'll have a separate topic some other day because this is a lot to speak about. So moving on, I want to speak about one last point here about the mental health. We have spoken a lot about physical health and what a person can see with as he grows old. But again, mental health is very important. When a person crosses a given age, there is a loss in the mental faculties. The buddhi, the intellect, the decision making, the memory, all are on a decline. And this is the reason Ayurveda speaks about having rasayanas. So Rasayana Chikitsa is something which is very unique to Ayurveda, and all rasayanas basically are herbs or are dietary recommendations which a person can have from a young age. And rasayanas help in improving the seven dhatus, which are the rasadi dhatus in the body. So let me give an example of a few rasayanas. Milk, ghee are very good rasayanas. Then we have rasayanas which are specific to given conditions. For example, I spoke about garlic. Garlic is a very good rasayana for neurological problems. Then we have gugulu. Gugulu is a good rasayana for joint problems. Person having osteoarthritis can have gugulu. Ashwagandha is a very good rasayana for general health. Any person above the age of 60, if he feels tired and fatigued, instead of having regular tea or coffee, I would recommend to have ashwagandha instead. Again, we have a lot of rasayana which work on the respiratory tract. For example, tulsi and pipali. So pipali is long pepper, which will help in improving the respiratory health. So people who are susceptible to getting a cough, cold, or people who are asthmatic, having pipali over a period of time, say maybe over 19-20 days, will again improve the health. So now, what does rasayana do? Technically, we need to do rasayana after a purification process of panchakarma, but anyone above the age of 70 cannot be done panchakarma according to books. So anyone who is about the age of 70, we directly give a mild rasayana which can be had on a daily basis. Earlier rasayanas were there where a person had to go and get admitted in a hospital, but now you don't have to do it. All the rasayanas can be made a part of your diet, and we can make sure that these rasayanas help to improve the quality of your tissues and your health. So at last, I just want to say that your health is in your hands. Everyone ages, but it's important to age gracefully. And it's important to grow old healthy and not just grow old. So I want to thank all the people who have joined us here today on this live Facebook talk. And as promised last week, I'll be back soon with another topic. We'll be having every weekly a short topic, and you all can feel free to send me your questions via email, or you can drop in your message on our Facebook page.
There's a question by Rahul. He says, my father is 52 years old and he has back pain. Do you recommend oil bath or oil massages for him?
Yeah, Rahul, hi. Thank you for asking the question. So basically, as I said, for back pain, we need two things. One is the internal medicines. We need to assess the patient. But if you're unable to contact us, what I would recommend is going for an oil bath. So we have treatments which are very localized. For example, Kati Vasti, where oil is taken and is retained over the region of low back for a period of say 30 to 45 minutes. But this can't be done at home. So what you can do at home is use a basic oil like a Dhanvantara Tela or Narayana Tela. Make it slightly lukewarm. It shouldn't be hot enough to burn the skin, but just lukewarm. Apply it in a downward direction. It's very important that when you're applying the oil, it has to be applied in a downward direction and has to be kept for about half an hour to 45 minutes, and then they can have a have a bath with hot water. If the pain is very severe, what we can do is take a small cotton piece, say about 5 or 6 inches, and dip this cotton piece in the oil, in the lukewarm oil, and this cotton piece can be placed on the low back while a person is lying down on the stomach. So this is called as Pichu and is a simplified version of the Kativasti, which I just explained earlier. Okay, once again, I want to thank everyone. And
There is a question by Rajri Sonji. Can Rasayana be given to anyone?
Yes, this is a very good question over here. So, Rasayana is something which can be given right from birth. Ayurveda speaks about giving gold at the time of birth. So, when a child is born, they normally give gold along with bacha. Gold is a very good immunomodulator and can help in prevention of a lot of diseases. Then in the middle age, we have rasayanas which are again specific, like for example, amla is given. Then and in the later on part of life where there's constipation, we give haritaki, we give rasayanas which are laxatives. So rasayanas can be given to anyone, there is no restriction, and most of the rasayanas are disease specific. For example, as I said, a lot of the rasayanas are for one given disease. So it's important to know that to choose a rasayana or to consult your doctor who can tell you that which is a rasayana best for your constitution and for the disease what you have.
There's a question by Raj Krishna. He says, can you recommend anything for gas related issues?
Okay. Okay. So as I said, that it's important to know that digestion is very important. In Ayurveda, most of the diseases are caused because of a weakened digestion. So when you say a person has gas, if a person above a given age has a lot of bloating, a lot of gas, fullness, it's important to make sure that the gas is released. Normally in Ayurveda, I say that air, which is Vata, has to go downwards in an Anulomna direction. When this air does not get released or does not come downward, there is a lot of fullness and bloating in the abdomen. So a simple home remedy which I would recommend is taking a little bit of jeera, which is cumin seeds, a little bit of fennel seeds, adding it to about half a liter of water, boiling it till the water gets reduced to half, and then having this jeera boiled water 2 to 3 times a day on an empty stomach. Because what happens is when you have foods like jeera, for example, which are appetizing in nature, there is an increase in Agni, and as a result, there is a reduction in the gas. It's also important that those people who are susceptible to gas have to avoid foods which cause gas. Foods which cause gas are tubers like potatoes, yam, then we have cauliflower, cabbage, certain dals like rajma, chana dal are all gas producing foods. Again, fermented foods, it's important to make sure that the foods are not over fermented. For example, if you like in South India, we have a lot of idli and dosa. It's important to make sure that the batter is not over fermented and kept for too long.
There is a question by Shika Saran. Hi, how do you treat pith?
Okay, yeah, so Shika ma'am, basically when there is an increase in body heat, when people have a lot of problems of like where they're burning sensation or they have acidity, when you have food coming up, you have a reflux, these are the most commonly seen diseases of Pitta. There are a lot more, but what is commonly seen is a lot of acid peptic diseases. So when a person has a problem of Pitta, in Ayurveda we call it Amla Pitta. So we need to avoid certain foods. As I said, fermented foods. Fermented foods will increase the Pitta. Foods like tea and coffee, which are highly acidic in nature, again increase the Pitta. Spicy foods will increase Pitta. Alcohol will increase Pitta. So it's important to make sure that you avoid all the acidic and spicy foods, and in turn have a lot of alkaline foods. Foods which are really good to bring down the body heat and Pitta are, for example, buttermilk. Here there is an important point to be noted. Milk, buttermilk and curds are all different. What I'm recommending is buttermilk and not curds, because buttermilk has an pH which is alkaline and is very easy to digest. Then we can have a lot of fruits and vegetables which are alkaline. For example, gourds, foods like bitter gourd, bottle gourd, rich gourd are alkaline and bring down the pith. So one more thing what we can do is go in for a mild virechana, which is a mild detox, which makes sure that the pith is released out. So people who have this problem can go in for a mild virechana even about the age of 60, but without the sneha.
There is a question by Aditi Kulkarni. Most elderly are diabetics. Can you suggest rasayanas for diabetes, especially in the diet?
Right. So for diabetic, I would first speak about a few simple rasayanas. So number one is Shilajit. So Shilajit is basically bitumen. It is something which is a rasayana which can be given to all diabetics. In Ayurveda, we have two types of diabetics: people who are obese and diabetic, and those who are lean and diabetic. For everyone, we can give Shilajit. The second simple thing which I recommend is your Nishamlaki, which is turmeric and amla. Turmeric and gooseberry is seen everywhere and is there in all our kitchens. So if you were to have, say, about 1 spoon of turmeric along with 1 fresh amla, or if you don't get a fresh amla, you can even have a raw powdered form, and this can be had on a daily basis. And this is something which works as a rasayana, because as I said earlier, if diabetes is not controlled, it can lead to other complications. So two rasayanas in terms of medicine which I recommend: one is amla along with nisha, which is turmeric, and second is shilajit. And in terms of the diet, well, we just need to follow a strict anti-diabetic diet. Anything which causes inflammation has to be avoided. We need to avoid sugar, all the whites like maida and salt, because these all cause inflammation in the body. And if the inflammation is uncontrolled, it will lead to type 1 diabetes.
There is a question by Shika. Can you suggest something for indigestion?
Yeah. So this is very similar to the question which was asked earlier. If there is indigestion, what do you do? So the thing is, we need to understand one basic concept of Agni. We all have a good appetite because of the Agni. The Agni is the digestive fire which is present in all of us. So if a person eats a lot of foods like maida or sluggish foods, has a lot of cakes and pastries, as a result, over the time, the Agni becomes weaker. So we need to give foods which improve the Agni. These are Agni Deepana and Pachana drugs. For example, we have a lot of herbs. If you were to go to your kitchen is your best pharmacy. We can find everything that is required for indigestion in your kitchen. So herbs, for example, pepper, ginger, are very good in improving the appetite. So what you can do is, if you have gas, you can also add things which help the gas. So what I recommend is pepper, ginger can be boiled along with cumin seeds and filter and drink this water 2 to 3 times a day. There are certain simple churnas available in the market like Ashta Churna and Vaishwanara Churna, which improve the appetite. The second thing is buttermilk. Certain people don't have buttermilk because it causes cold, causes a cough. So what you can do is, after making buttermilk, you can add 1 pinch of hing, which is asafoetida, and you can also add a little bit of jeera seeds and cumin seeds to it, so that it does not cause a gas as well.
Thank you for the wonderful information, Dr. Abhishek.
Thank you so much for having me here. I look forward to see you all next week. Stay safe and stay healthy.